Okay, so the way I taught my kids the Ten Commandments is some of these are, I think, more clever. I didn't come up with this, so when I say what I'm saying, I'm not talking about myself. Some of these are more clever than others. But I think they're all apt. But some are really good. They're very memorable. So here's how it goes. So the first commandment is there's only one God, right? Thou shalt have no other God besides me. The second commandment, notice the second finger is like the first, right? Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything in heaven above, on the earth beneath, or the waters under the earth, and so forth. So the second commandment is thou make no idols, right? The third commandment is thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. So you have the three as I think the way I learned it was it's like word, W for word, but signaling the divine name, because the commandment not to take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, it's not merely talking about using a word wrongly. It's a larger idea. God's name is synonymous with God himself, and it's a revelation. It's a means of revealing himself, right? God's names reveal him. And so a person takes God's name in vain, for example, when he, for example, doesn't trust in God to provide, even though his name is Jehovah Jireh, right? Yahweh Jireh, the Lord provides. We're not keeping God's name when we act and think and speak in ways that are contrary to those names that he's given as a revelation of himself, and really everything that he's given to reveal himself, his word. So we're not to use God's name in a light and frivolous way. We're not to uh, use those expressions for him in ways that don't bespeak great reverence, and we're not to speak and act in ways that are inconsistent. That's all ways of blaspheming the name. Remember, Paul says in Romans 2, the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you. Does that mean that the Gentiles are running around calling Yahweh names? No, he's saying they disregard and disbelieve and so forth in him because of your wicked actions. So anyways, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. The fourth commandment is remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So you rest your hand, signifying rest, on your other hand. Okay. Now, I don't know how clever those first four appear to you, but the next five do, or next six do a better job. Okay. So the fifth commandment is honor your father and your mother, right? So salute, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God giveth you. The sixth commandment is thou shalt not murder. So 6 fingers. The seventh commandment is thou shalt not commit adultery. So you're putting the 5 fingers in front of the other 2. Thou shalt not commit adultery. The eighth commandment is thou shalt not steal. I don't know. It's memorable. Thou shalt not steal. So it's like grabbing something. The ninth commandment, you have 9 fingers, and this one is over here cowering down as the other fingers are speaking against it. So it refers to the ninth commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And then the 10th commandment is thou shalt not covet. Gimme, gimme, gimme. All right, take those for what they're worth. I don't think I've mentioned this little thing in a long time. The last time I guess Euler or Houston saw me do this, and before that, it had probably been years since I had last done this. It shows you that if nothing else, it is memorable, right? So at this point, I mean, I can very easily recall off the top of my head. There's no brilliance here. Okay, get that out of your mind. It's not the point of this. Because of this whole thing, I mean, I can remember any one of the 10 commandments. I remember which number it is just by this, you know, I may not pull up my hands and do this, but I can remember, you know, what's the 7th commandment? Well, that's easy, right? It's thou shalt not commit adultery. What's the 4th commandment? That's easy. It's remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. You know, what's the 10th commandment? That's easy. Thou shalt not covet. It's not because I've got this phenomenal ability to, you know, just bounce around in the commandments like that. It's because of that, you know, using that to teach my kids.